Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Beach Court podcast. We got the original gang back. We got Parker and Maddox. They're both here. We're going to talk about LAIC, everything LAIC this week. Sorry we didn't get to talk about Gdansk last week, but we'll do a little bit of that discussion this week. We'll talk about the Argentina special event and any other results that have happened around the country. We'll talk about what decks there are to beat at LAIC. What are the best rogue picks for LAIC? And also, I'm interested to see what Parker and Maddox think they would play if they were going to LAIC, since they are not. And I'm very sad that I have to travel alone. But anyways, we got some other people going. It'll be fun. And at the very end, we're gonna do something we usually do, tier list and things like that, but we're gonna spice it up this week. And we're gonna do a live fantasy draft. We're gonna select 10 players each. We'll try to keep it a little bit entertaining. I know it's a podcast, it's tough sometimes, but we're gonna be drafting live, and we'll run over the criteria of what we're going to do later. But that'll be kind of fun. I'm looking forward to doing the fantasy draft. I know fantasy football is in full swing. My team is like struggling, but I got Jamar Chase this week, so we're good. You got 50 points on Thursday night football, so we should be good to go. Maddox, how's your fantasy football team looking this week?
It's not doing very good, but 2 weeks ago I did absolutely destroy you, which was great.
Can you please define destroy?
Well, you're really gonna make me pull up the numbers on you right here.
Yeah, because you definitely didn't destroy me.
Well, to be fair, I was like doing terrible all the time in the league, and then just showed up and you know embarrassed you kind of. I don't even know what to say. Like I kind of felt bad. You're almost like pushing thing and get drugged back down.
Bro.
I have this guy on my team named CD Lamb who put up 40 points, but. Anyways, we're sounding more like the Shift Gear podcast with these sports tangents,
The
but I'm doing
score
all
was
right.
162 to 142, and I scored the second most points in the league that week.
But not the first most, baby, and that's all that matters when you're up against the GOAT. Anyways, every other week I put up 90 points. Not having a great fantasy year, but I'm doing all right with everything else.
You're gonna turn it
Parker,
around tonight, right?
I don't know. My opponent isn't starting a defense because they was that confident they'd beat me.
We're talking
So
about we're talking about fantasy draft for
oh
LAIC
oh yeah
though.
yeah, I have some absolutely stacked fantasy Pokemon players to draft.
Okay. All right. Parker, what's going on with you these days? How's your week been?
Terrible. I had kind of a rough 3 days at work, and then I checked myself into the ER on Wednesday. They let me out like Saturday afternoonish. Honestly, they're like, "Hey, it'll kind of be the same here or there. It'll just be like pain. What's the word? Pain monitoring, I guess, and
Yeah.
you can stay here or you can go home." But it wasn't like they were kicking me out, but like they kind of wanted me to go. Like, yeah, but
Like, get the heck
yeah,
out of here, brother.
yeah. I mean, the hospital was like pretty full, and I'm like, I'm not dying. Like, I'm in a lot of pain, but I'm like not dying anymore.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it's been my week. I did get to play a lot of Pokemon Pocket. I was playing a ton of that in the hospital room,
What's your best
and
pull so far on Pokemon Pocket?
I pulled the alternate Mewtwo EX, and I was like, screw it, I'll build this deck. So I have Mewtwo Guardy built, and yeah, I hit Arceus rank on not in the hospital. I only like made it to like Shaman or something, but
Yeah.
today I hit Arceus rank just playing a couple games
I have
and
played a
stuff.
total
And
of
it's like,
0 games of Pocket. I'm sorry, but an app that I can open one pack every 12 hours does not amuse me. Like, that is just like I have no care to be involved with it. It needs to be like a quicker refresh, like 3 to 4 hours. Like 12 hours is just too much.
But you see, that's
see,
where the secret technique comes in. Money.
Yeah, yeah. I don't have desire. Like I'm gonna pull real cards instead.
Nah, see, I pulled a Pikachu X in the game and I can battle in the game.
For those of
But
you
that card
listening
only
on
gets
our
me
podcast,
$500 in real cash.
for those of you listening on the podcast, I was lucky enough to pull the Pikachu SIR tonight at a NakamaCon because Nakama has the best hits. Thank you for
It's
your continued
true.
they
support of this
actually do.
podcast. So I pulled that tonight, and it's it's actually a real card, so it's nice. Can do something with it. But yeah, so NakamaCon was a lot of fun this weekend. If you didn't make it out to NakamaCon, I'm sorry that you didn't make it. We had a great time. We did some building battles with some new folks, taught some people some Pokemon. Our friend Chris came out, tried to beat us, failed about 8 times. He got a couple wins, but he wasn't able to beat the full Elite Four and get him a booster box.
Couldn't
But
even
yeah,
beat a nerfed me today.
yeah, but he came out. He had a good time. So thanks for coming out, Chris, and supporting him. And a bunch of people came out and tried to challenge the Elite Four. And it was a lot of fun. We had a really good time with it. Max was there all weekend. Parker, I know you had some stuff you're dealing with. He came out today. But Nakamacon was a blast. I think it was a huge success this year. I can't wait to see what that kind of like grows into as it can continue to grow. So stay tuned for next year's dates. It'll be a lot of fun.
Speaking of success, can we talk
Uh-huh.
about Regidrago V-Star?
That deck sucks, bro. We tested that all weekend.
I just won Gdansk.
Bro,
It's
it
got
won
the regional
Gdansk
win.
and Lille, but it still sucks.
Went from unplayable bulk Silver Tempest V-Star to top deck at the World Championships to 2 regional wins. I think it's time. I think
Yeah.
it's all Regidrago season.
Is it BDIF? Is it
No.
like the deck to beat?
Ooh.
Because we're talking about decks to beat in a minute. Like,
Aren't we
is it-
saving that for that segment?
Maybe we could, but we're already here, right? I mean, that's what we're saying, right?
Mhm.
Is it the deck to beat? Is it like, well, we'll say it. Anyways, let's talk about Gdansk. Alberto Conti got his first, I think it's the first victory, right? Let me
Mhm.
validate that.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's
It
his
is,
first.
yeah.
Yeah, well accomplished player. Loves playing Giratina. So I guess he's playing Regidrago V-Star because Giratina's in the deck. And was able to take it down. He beat the one and only Tord Reklov in finals playing Terapagos Dusknoir. So the top 8 meta at Gdansk is a meta like we haven't seen in a very long time, right?
Yeah.
It is wild. We had 2 Guardy Bayonets, 2 Thorns, a Snorlax player, and 2 Dragos and a Terapagos. What was ASIM cut? Did we have an ASIM? I think it was clean,
No,
right?
it was clean
Yeah,
cut.
it was clean. Yeah. Yeah. So we have 3 control decks, maybe 5 control decks if you want to call Guardia Bayonetta control deck. A lot of like disruptive decks seem to do really well right now in Gdansk. What are your guys' takes on the when you look at that top 8?
It's kind of it's kind of gross to look at. I mean, I actually don't hate Guardy Bennett as a deck. Like, I actually want to play that deck. The thing I'm missing, funnily enough, is the Shuppets. Um, but I it is like an odd top 8 to look at when you consider like the big event before that was like Lil, and like Lil had like, I guess it had 3 Dragos in it, but like it was kind of, more traditional decks, whereas Gdansk, you're like, oh, there's all these slow decks that like turn off a part of playing the game. No items, no abilities, no retreating, all like regular mechanics we're all used to playing. I
Yeah.
don't hate it. I don't like lax, but the other 2 decks,
Yeah, I think this top 8 is like any locals player's nightmare, right? If you walk into a locals, say, "Oh, what's your meta like here?" Oh, yeah, we got like 25% Thorns. We got the guy that plays Lax that shows up every week, and we got like half Guardy Bayonet, and like, oh yeah, if you like playing setup decks, yeah, we have like great Regidrago players here. Be like, like, what are we doing? Like, I mean, I think this top 8 is like really a sign of the times. Where we're saying, hey, some of these like meta art, like these like counter meta archetypes can really thrive. Again, I think this is one of the top 8s of all time. Just in like the anomaly of decks. Decks with such a slow play rate, Iron Thorns and Guardian Bayonet. Yeah, excuse me, and Lax. I mean, seeing this conversion. Obviously, some very, very strong pilots. I think Guardian Bayonet was in a good spot for this weekend. And Mateus and Magnus are 2 of Guardian Bayonet's biggest champions. So again, when you have a great pilot of a deck and the deck is well positioned, that's the time it'll go on a great run. So, um, yeah, I think this top 8 is definitely something. I don't think this is going to be a huge example for LAIC,
Yeah.
except for maybe the fact that Regidrago, will be in the top 3 most played decks.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, I think it just this tournament result makes people respect these decks more going into, LAIC. Sadly, I wish we were playing Surging Sparks this weekend coming up. It's weird to me to go to an IC and not play a new set
It
after
is
doing
weird,
that.
yeah.
For a couple of years now. So, but I mean, I think it's fine. I think it's healthy-ish, right? I mean, the Guardy Bayonet is a little cheesy to me, right? It's, oh, let me attach this gravity stone and counter catch or something else that can't retreat, easily. And I own a Uta 2 and not take a knockout. So I'm just gonna do whatever I want for the next 15 turns
Like
while I
the Radiant
retreat and
Allocated
monkey dory and
Sam
monkey dory and retreat and monkey dory. And to me that's a little cheesy of a win con. Probably, I mean, even a little more cheesier than like Snorlax, honestly. Like,
no.
yeah, and it is because it's just it's an attacking deck that takes the same amount of time as a Snorlax deck does. And it's just the matches take forever and they draw out. And I don't mind item lock being in format. I think we talk about the new card that can come out if we want to. There's a new Budu coming out. How you saying that? Budu? Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. New item lock card coming out that's I think is pretty good. I think item lock in the format's very healthy. I don't think like trying to stall your active and then item locking you at the same time. Um, it seems a little cheesy with the gemstone. I think is where it goes over the line for me personally. But
Yeah.
and it's a deck, and you got to respect it.
I mean, again, I think decks like that to just thrive is just capitalizing off the format, right? If
Yeah,
every deck, or again, I think back, I mean, I don't know, when I was a kid playing and you'd get the theme decks, right? Every deck, you played like two switch, right? Now, some decks, oh, I played the one switch, like, oh, I got switch and prime catcher, right? Like, if every deck played a penny or two pennies or like a
yeah,
penny and a Turo,
yeah.
like, this could never work.
Well, that's why I
Like
sold
Stall could never be so
right.
successful because like every deck would just naturally have outs to it.
That's why I
But if
saw Toro
everyone
do
just
well,
walked,
right? Well,
exactly. I mean, well,
you played
UIC
Turo and
played,
Penny.
well, in his list, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, but even back to like, his EUIC list that played Teams Yelchir and two Turos, where it's saying
yeah,
like,
yeah,
hey, I'm going to respect this.
yeah,
And if we're in a spot where, there's so many, the deck's all about, going as fast as you can, saying, oh, no, I don't have time to play Penny. I don't have time for this.
yeah.
And then some of these decks say, nah, I have plenty of time. I have tens and 20s of turns to just item lock, install, and spread damage type of thing.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, it's going to be funny that when the new Latios comes out and then actually legal for play, that like that deck probably just goes away.
but Snorlax doesn't because you
Yeah,
can't retreat.
Snorlax
Yeah.
doesn't. But I'm saying the Guardian Bayonet goes away, right? Like, because they can't lock you in the active anymore. You just have free retreat.
Yeah, because it'll depend on how much people are playing Latias EX.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen quite a bit of it on the ladder.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, Maddox alluded to it earlier. Like I think Iron Thorns is a deck that punishes people on how the decks are built,
Yep.
kind of.
Yep.
Um, and like Guardy Bennett does do that a little, but like you do have to play the game, and then like a lot of the time you can just like Monkey Dory, Gardevoir, and, like knock stuff out with like Gardevoir and stuff. But like I don't know, like just lacks like you could lose the game because you opened a bad basic and they just flip over Snorlax and they just have to draw their card for turn and pass for the rest of the game. Like,
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
yeah,
Anyways, I mean, I think the results are fine. Congratulations to Alberto with winning with Drago. Very big win. Definitely favored against, a Terapagos deck, trying to set up and stuff.
Yeah.
Um, so
Cord did play the Bouffalant, which does make the matchup a little bit trickier.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, still tricky even for the great Tord Reklev to overcome when Reggie Drago's firing on all cylinders.
Yeah, so let's look at the rest of the results from Gdansk. As you scroll down, we got a Gardevoir at 9th, Lost Box at 10th. We got a spicy Palkia deck at 12th. What kind of stood out to you day two, results for Gdansk? Any results stand out to you? Any like lack of results or I mean, I think one thing that stood out to me is like Charizard. There's one at like I think there's one at 17 and then the next one is like at 40th. So there's like
yeah.
not much Charizard doing well, but that's where Drago succeeding, I think. But kind of what's up to you guys?
So surprisingly to me, there was severe lack of like Lugia and Charizard and
True.
Raging Bolts at the top.
Where is the highest Lugia?
So highest Lugia
44th?
was Consta Kamala again. Kamala, 44th, and then even Raging Bolts was only 55th,
That's the
right? So these
highest
are,
bold.
yeah.
Yeah.
Are they fraudulent decks? Are they not going to show up? Are they not decks to beat at LAIC?
Wow.
No, they
No, you have
definitely
to you
are.
have to beat those decks. If you go to LAIC and you can't beat those decks, you're not gonna have a good time.
But you know what did place higher than all of those decks, all those like very scary meta real decks,
What
was
did?
Gouging Fire
What?
Yeah.
Goldango.
Two
Goldango?
Gouging Fire and two Goldango in top 32. If you're a Goldango enjoyer, if you're Gouging Fire enjoyer, keep it going.
Yeah, I
I think
mean,
there's three Gouging Fires
is
in
there
top
three?
Oh yeah, there
32.
is. Let's go.
Yeah, I mean, I think this just goes to show if you have a deck that's strong and it's consistent and you know how to play it against the meta and you test it and you practice it, you will finish well with your deck, right? I mean, that's just how it goes. Sometimes the matchups fall your way. I don't know, something I want to call out. We gotta scroll all the way down to 85th. But we got an Ogie Dogie Garchomp EX list in day 2 of a regional championship. I believe this is Garchomp's first. Yeah, it is. Garchomp EX's first limitless entry. The attack is Hydrolander. Attach up to 3 basic fighting energy to your discard from your discard pile to your bench Pokemon any way you like. And the second one is Sonic Dive. Discard 2, and it does 120 to one of your opponent's bench Pokemon. And yeah, I mean, this is a wild deck to see. I know, Parker, you used to play Ogie Dogie Lost Box a little bit.
Good.
What are your thoughts on this deck?
It's definitely something I wanted to try with my buddy Sam. Like one, he just loves Garchomp, but two, like it is a good valid way to power it up. And like we were just like, yeah, two prizer type thing. But like it is a good way to power it up. It's irrita searchable. It's like you need one energy. Like, it doesn't take a lot to keep it going. But yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't
You think it's
tech
viable?
for
Think it's
it.
a good fun deck to play? A good just
Oh,
like we'll talk
definitely.
about rogue decks in a little bit. Is this one of those like rogue deck plays?
I think so. Yeah. Like I mean I wouldn't tech for it like I was saying, but like
Those of you on the
very
podcast format,
good.
Maddox just shook his head. Absolutely not.
What?
Yeah, I mean, shout out to Theodore, right? This list is epic. I love innovation like this. Um, I do not see it. Right. I hope like when Toronto, I hope like I hit like 4 of these in a row and they just all steamroll me. But like I do not see it. Like Okie Doki's like good. I guess you just like throw a Luminous on it too. I guess some decks have a weird part, but like I don't know. Are we really playing Garchomp EX and Okie
But we got
Dokie
legacy
in
energy. We got a
2024?
320 HP single prizer.
Like there's all these decks out here, and you're playing that. But no, all honestly, Theodore, like lists like this are epic. I love seeing stuff like this. I am scared by the list because I do not know what it's doing or how it works. But keep doing your thing. That's
Parker,
awesome.
money match.
Yeah.
Like I'll just play any meta deck and should be fine.
Yeah. Well, money match. Put your money with.
Play
Let's
Jet
post it.
Palkia. Now that's another suspicious deck.
Yeah, Jeb Palkia. I mean, let's talk about this deck a little bit. I finished 12th place by Oscar, and Oscar Mel something, Madsen. And yeah, he played the Illumies and Volbeat cards from Twilight.
Illumise.
Yeah,
Volbeat and Illumise.
yeah, whatever, however you pronounce them, right?
Only the
First,
Pokemon podcast guy knew what Pokemon were. So.
listen, this card hasn't been meta relevant, and it's never been relevant, and I'm not sure it will be meta relevant, but we'll see. So Illumise has the attack Slowing Perfume. You can only use this attack if you go second, and only during your first turn. And it's for 1 energy, so you shuffle one of your opponent's bench Pokemon and all attached cards into their deck. So against Lugia or Regidrago, they only get 1 Drago or Lugia down. You can jet that Pokemon into the active and put it into the deck if it's on their bench.
Often searchable.
Yeah, and it's Poffin searchable. So it's really cool deck. I've tested it. It hasn't played well for me in testing, but I could just be playing it bad. It's possible. But I don't know. I like it. I'm a big Palkia enjoyer. You guys know that. I've been Palkia lover for a while. And you hit some big numbers with this deck for sure.
Alright.
So that's kind of the good dance meta recap, and we had Terapagos kind of jump back to the top after Enlil it kind of fell off and was in 5th and 6th place in the meta chart on day 2. Kind of like didn't have a good conversion rate. Looks like here it did. So we'll see kind of how that impacts the meta heading into LAIC. And let's talk about that now. So let's talk about the decks to beat at LAIC. Let's each give 2 to 3 and why we think those are the decks to beat. Max, why don't you kick us off?
Yeah, I mean, we kind of mentioned this a little bit before, but Lugia and Raging Bolt, right? Even though they did not do well in Gdansk, you need to be ready for these decks because they're going to show up. They are very popular decks, and they are very, very powerful decks. People will always, joke about, oh, Lugia is just a pile, or oh, Raging Bolts, it's too linear. But listen, these decks are getting better, and the pilots are getting better. If you're going to LAIC, you need to play a Lugia tech if your deck falls over to Lugia. If you're playing Iron Thorns, you're probably fine. But if you're playing anything else, you probably have an unfavored Lugia matchup, so you need something in there for it, right? Whether it's a Temple of Sinnoh, whether it's the Enhanced Hammer. This is a deck that will show up in good numbers. I think easily over 10%. And a lot of players will go towards it. It was only a couple of years ago we saw Lugia do very, very well at LAIC back when it was broken, and it's not quite as broken as it was in the Aurora Energy days, but Lugia is still very, very strong and needs to be respected. And Raging Bolt, solid, consistent, sets up. They're playing more and more bravery charms now, and a lot of decks struggle with that. Especially if a Raging Bolt player knows how to play it well, they'll actually limit their board as opposed to going super wide and just benching every single Ogre Pawn and Squawk and Pheasantipede and Raging Bolt they see. A Raging Bolt player that keeps a small board and maybe just has, a couple Raging Bolts or maybe like, one Ogre Pawn with a charm and a Fez with a charm. It gets a little harder to knock it out if they're all dodging those 220 numbers that some decks need. So be ready for those. Make sure you have a solid game plan into those because they're going to show up in good numbers. Now, how well will they convert into top 8? I think they actually will convert, but you got to be ready to beat them.
Shots fired. All right, let's see. Parker, what's your decks to beat for LAIC?
So my decks to beat are Lugia, Charizard, and Drago. Um, Honestly, Thorns might be worth putting on there too. I'm saying this because Latam loves Charizard and they love Lugia. I'd say they love Charizard more. But I know that like a lot of people from South America are playing like Iron Thorns and stuff. It was like huge, like especially after won Worlds.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Fernando Cifuentes,
Yep.
world
It was
champion.
won by a Chilean. Like it was so impressive. He got to meet the president of Chile.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are definitely the decks to beat. I would say like Charizard, just make sure you don't get steamrolled by the lizard. Um, Lugia, just I mean, can steamroll everything basically if it sets up, but like I don't know. And then Draco, I mean, it just won this regional, and then it won the regional, like the last big regional before this too. So like, it's got to be good, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's got to be good. I mean, just the hands I see, they're not very good, but some people are blessed with some good opening hands. For me, I think the decks to beat going into LESE format. I think Lugia is number one public enemy on everyone's radar. I think Lugia has a good matchup into pretty much all of the top 6 decks. That are expected in the meta. Yes, it can have some consistency issues, as noticed by Rahul not finishing well in his last 2 tournaments, right? He was on a tear and then just had 2 tournaments where he didn't finish well. Is that because he's a bad player and playing a bad deck? No, it's because of variance, right? Like that's kind of what the deck does. But I think you need to be able to beat it because you might hit someone that's firing on all cylinders, and you need to understand how to beat it. And your deck needs to not lose to it. Um, Obviously you can't discount what Regidrago has done in Europe. It's won 2 tournaments. You need to make sure that you know how to beat that deck and how it's going to try to beat you. So I think if you know how to beat those 2 decks, like that's your primary concern going into LAIC. And we're getting ready to talk about best rogue picks for LAIC, and so I'll kind of kick us off there. There's one type of deck that I have noticed that people love to gravitate back towards when it's good. And it's because everyone loved to play it when it was like the BDIF. And that's Gardevoir EX. Where we got people playing Bayonet Guardy, and we've got people like Henry Chow and his group all playing Gardevoir EX, like a turbo Gardevoir EX. They just beat Regidrago on stream this weekend. I think it was like a Queen 3-0 or something like that. It was like pretty fast.
Yeah. It was like the Gardevoir Enjoyers money match versus the Reggie Drago Enjoyers money match.
Yeah, and it was like a quick
And
3-0, I think, right?
I think it was a 4-1
Or one. I mean,
out
it
of
was
best
pretty
of seven.
convincing. Yeah. Pretty convincing victory. And it also just won the Tournament of Doom this weekend online, which I know did include Surging Sparks a little bit. But it's a deck that like you just need to understand how to beat it, and that you can't just write it off because Drago should be favored into it. As you just saw, they lost to Drago, like some of the best players in the world piloting this deck at a very high level and beating other players, playing Drago at a high level. So I think Gardevoir EX is one of the best rogue picks for LAIC if you know how to play it and play it confidently into the meta. What are your guys' picks for the rogue picks for LAIC?
Is it just one deck that we're picking?
Whatever you want. You can pick three, you can pick five, you can pick Garchomp, you can pick Okie Dokie, you can pick Lost Box, you could
You can pick
whatever,
Garchomp
whatever.
with Okie Dokie.
You can pick Garchomp with Okie Dokie. You can pick Garchomp with Lost Box. You can do whatever you want, bud.
So I guess purely rogue, meaning like probably not on the first graphic. Probably thorns. I mean, I have almost no doubt in my mind that it'll win a top eight. Um, there's always Lost Box. That's
Yep.
like
Yep.
good pilots, doesn't auto lose to anything. Like sure, Drago is very, very tough for you, but you can still win away with the good old comfies. I'm interested. I don't think that anybody is gonna be like bold enough to play it there. But I'm interested to see how far gouging fire would go.
Yeah.
I think that like Goldango's rogue, and I think that that'll see some play as well.
Yeah.
And then any control deck.
So Parker just said he's going to name everything on page two.
I am somewhat naming everything on the
Goldango isn't even
page
making
too.
page two, honestly. I wish it was, but
I
it's not
mean
making
that's
page
true.
two.
That's true.
Yeah.
Maybe
Gouging
not.
Fire might, though,
Maybe not
because
Latin
it's a
America, but
favorite Goldango matchup.
In Europe it will. So
Yeah. For me, some rogue picks that I'm keeping an eye out for. I'm really back and forth on Lost Box, right? Turbo Lost Box had a fantastic showing in Louisville when it was just perfectly positioned. And now people are aware of it, so there's a few more mana fees that are creeping back into your, Terapagos Dusknoir decks, or your Palkia Dusknoir decks, or your Charizards or Dragapults. So a little bit of a question, like if people don't show up with mana fee and you're able to only hit maybe one or two Dragos, I think Turbo Lost Box could do pretty well. Again, lots of strong pilots. We just saw Fabrizio got third with it in Buenos Aires this past weekend. So there are lots of skilled players playing it that are finding it to be a strong pick into the meta. Another deck that it was very popular and was kind of the sleeper pick for Louisville was this Palkia Dusknoir deck,
yeah.
where we know it has this high power level, and whenever it hits the pieces it needs, right, it's just almost unfair at how quickly it can win games with just two attacks. It's going to pull off a Greninja attack, or it's going to, double Dusknoir, after Pokestopping into Stretcher, Rare Candy Stretcher, pull off their combo pieces and then go, Blood Moon Ursaluna for game, or kind of whatever pieces it can there. So lots of powerful options. And friend of the pod, Jem Gumilla, just won the special event in Buenos Aires. So Palkia Dusknoir already getting a good showing down there. So I think the deck is really, to put it lightly, there probably the rogue deck is like a Greninja deck that's attacking with Greninja, and probably some of the other pieces there, because Greninja alone there's not enough setup. But having
Yeah.
Greninja, having Blood Moon, pretty good cards right now, and a couple of good sleeper picks in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Palkia Dusknoir is a pretty good deck. That deck just like feast on going first is why it's a really good deck. If it's a good setup and goes first, it does seem a little unfair. One more sleeper pick I just gotta throw out, and because I played it to Louisville and I love it. I think Miraidon's still in a really good position across the board. Takes good matchups against the whole board except for Charizard. And just it can just run people off the board in like 2 turns. And it's a deck that beats Gardevoir. It can beat Lost Box pretty easily. There's so many things it can do well. So maybe that's a pick that, if you're looking for a rogue deck, you can pick that up.
Yeah, is Juho going to LAC? Might see a Baron on back to back.
Yeah, maybe. We shall see. So let's move on. We got a quick sponsor we gotta drop. Thanks Nakama Anime Cafe for NakamaCon this weekend and your continued support of this podcast. It's been a fun, year and a half now, and we're gonna continue doing that partnership, and we really appreciate it. Um, but yeah, let's jump into trivia. I think I've got the easiest layup for you guys ever. But we'll see. I am trying to stump you, but we
You
will see.
overestimate us.
Yeah, I mean, I expect you to get this one, and if you don't, the listeners at home are probably going to roast you in the comments below after they hit the subscribe button. So you just got to make sure that you get it right.
Oh no.
Anyways, LAIC is upon
Oh,
us. We're coming up. Who has won the last three LAIC tournaments, and with what deck?
Oh, we already named two of them on the pod. I think actually I probably know all three. Actually, what did that actually who won in actually 2023 season? So 23. When was the last LAIC before COVID?
is there one in 2022 even?
Well, the 2022 one was the 2023 season. So that was Tord, who won with Lugia.
Right, yeah.
But the one
I
before
remember
that, was that Azul? I think maybe. I know Azul has won one before. Or has he not won an LAIC? I'm pretty
No,
sure he has.
he's won LAIC.
But I have no
I'm
idea what
pretty sure.
decks they were playing in 2019. I don't know, baby Bucephalon, I don't know. I'm relying on you for that one.
Oh God.
You got to talk it out, Parker.
I all
It's a
right. So
podcast.
I'm thinking. So if I'm remembering correctly, there was just and I don't remember if it was LAIC or if it was just a regional. I remember there was a ton of Blacephalon, but I think like some Naganadel GX deck. There's,
All right, but who was it?
I don't
Was it
remember.
Azul? Was it? I don't know. Comment below if you were playing in 2019, because I definitely wasn't.
You said this was gonna be easy.
Eric wasn't even playing then. Hey, trivia question for you, Eric. What's the name of the name the two cats Pokemon in Jet Palkia and say their names correctly? Volbeat and
Illumise.
A. Almost. Is it Illumise? I don't know. Actually, no, just kidding. I do know. I need to pretend to be confident to give Eric flack for that. Parker, I tried stalling as long as I can. You got anything?
Yeah, no, I don't. I don't. Without cheating, I can't think of it. My timeline might be slightly too early, but I don't think it was because I had to quit in 2019 because of my health. But the decks that were good around that time were Blacephalon.
Okay, let's say Baby Bucephalon. I don't know who played it. Was that when Azul won in 2019? Or did Tord also win that one?
I don't think Azul ever played that deck.
Then again,
I don't think.
speaking of people who can't say the names of Pokemon, Naganadel or whatever.
Was it?
I'm just making up
Hold
stuff,
on,
man.
hold on. It
Uh,
might.
All right, we gotta get an answer from you.
Hold on.
All right,
I
2023,
don't.
Juho Kamala playing Miraidon EX with Iron Hands.
Okay.
2022, Tord Rekov playing Lugia V Star.
Okay.
And in 2019, we have
Okay,
Send It.
I'm gonna send it, and I'm gonna say Tord playing Zoroark.
Okay, that's a pretty fair guess, honestly.
I don't remember if the card. I know it must have been out by then.
All right, hit us with it,
But
Eric. I like that.
All right.
Tord playing Zoroark, pretty good call, honestly.
Okay, so obviously you're correct on the most two recent tournaments. I did expect you to get those. That was gonna be pretty obvious. I have done a control F for Tord Reklev in 2019, which was the last tournament. Tord Reklev did not make day two that year. Um, so we did have a lot of Blacephalons. If you look at everything going on here, we had ADP in day two. We had Mewtwo and Mew. We had Reshiram and Charizard. We had a Rangaroo Control.
teams were out already.
And we had Robin Schultz take it down
Oh, yeah.
with Reshiram and Charizard Firebox
Mm.
in 2019.
I was gonna say Robert Schultz
Reshizard,
playing
yeah.
Zoroark, but I was like, wait, didn't Tord win it with that? So
Uh,
wait, what? What year was that? It was
2019,
2019.
2020. Yeah, that's what it says. This is all according to Limitless, of course. Could be wrong, but that's what
But
Limitless
it's probably
says.
not wrong.
It's probably not wrong.
I
Given
get.
it.
I wasn't playing there, but like I thought maybe Parker could like dig deep and get that one. That's why I thought it would be easy for y'all. But alas, we did not. Another one bites the dust. If you at home were guessing it and yelling at your TV while you're watching on YouTube and pressing the subscribe button, please make sure you comment below and tell us how come they didn't get it. We'll see.
I forgot that tag teams were legal, but
For a very limited time.
Zacian wasn't out yet, so like AAP wasn't like the most insanest deck ever made.
All right. Well, let's jump into fantasy draft time. We are going to kick it off. I'm going to share my screen for those of you that are listening on the podcasting platforms. Thank you for doing so. I would love if you jump over to YouTube and press the subscribe button. It helps a lot with the channel. And our draft criteria, you're going to draft 10 players. The top 8 of your best finishes will count towards your total score. You have to draft one player from every region, and you must draft at least one player without a day 2 this season. You will be awarded championship points just like your player gets in LAIC, and that will be totaled up at the end to get your grand total. I do have a couple of bonuses here to make it a little bit interesting. You have a day 2 bonus for 25 points. If your player makes day 2, you get 25 points. And at the very end, we will choose the winning deck. And if you choose the winning deck correctly, you will get 50 points to Gryffindor. All right. Any questions about the format before we start?
No, I'm good.
No,
All right.
I'm set.
Parker Greenwald, you are on the clock. You are first to select. Who would you like to select number 1 overall in this year's LAIC Beach Court Podcast Fantasy Draft?
I am picking a very, very strong person that has performed well, I think, in every event he's played in. And he's from that region. It's Carlos. Good friend that we stayed with in
Carlos
Puerto
Medina?
Rico.
Yeah.
Carlos Medina.
Oh, dang. He was on my like sleeper picks, bro. You went and took him number 1 overall?
Yeah, I think I think that is like a guaranteed top 32 for me.
Wow, bro. All right.
Going for the
That's
safety.
deep. That is deep.
Guaranteed.
Okay. Maddox Corcoran, you're on the clock.
Hey, listen, Parker's going for a safety pick at number 1. You know, I gotta respect that. I too am gonna be knocking out my Latin America pick with the first overall draft. Listen, it's good to have a safe top 32, but I'm going for a safe finals pick. Right? Giovanni Sasso been in 3 consecutive finals with Terapagos Duscanor. I think an easy lock as the number 1 pick and my primary representative from Latin America. Again, it's finals in Buenos Aires, finals in Lima, and finals in oh shoot, I forgot the tournament, but finals in Joinville. Listen, he's on a tear this format.
Yeah.
He's gonna keep getting it done. And I'm trusting him with my number 1 overall pick.
All
or my
right.
number 2 pick, whatever it is.
Heard. Okay, that puts me on the clock. Did not expect you guys to go there. I'm gonna take the 2 easiest layups ever and knock out 2 hard regions.
Tord and who?
No. These are layups. I'm taking Yurko and Brent Tonneson. So that way I can wrap up my Oceania region and my Latin America region and just get the 2 best players.
Damn, America sucked. I'm just kidding.
I mean, America's just so deep that like I don't need to take them early, right?
Right, yeah.
Maddox,
Get
you're on
into
the
that
clock.
draft strategy. Listen, shout out, respect to Brent Tonneson, right? We played some Epic Splash with him in the Louisville airport, had a great time. But Eric, you got to get into the mental game, right? You know, Brent loves to travel. He's hopping all over the place. You know who doesn't like to travel? You know who's already settled? You know who's already in Latin America right now, getting settled as my representative from Oceania, getting locked in, ready to play? I'm going Kywin. He's there at Buenos Aires. Didn't do as well as he wanted to, but that's because he's saving it all for next week on the greatest stage. You know, an easy pick for my number 2. And yeah, honestly, y'all can just concede now if you want, because you're not beating me. Like this, like there's no chance.
All right, that's fair.
Okay.
All right, Parker, you're on the clock. You got 2 picks back to back.
All right. So you want me to? I'll pick a Oceania
You can
one
do whatever you want. It's up
like
to you.
y'all. No. I gotta keep
No, no,
it.
no, wait, no,
Gotta keep
you'll
it.
get the value where it is. Listen, I couldn't risk anyone else taking Kaiwin. I'd lock it in,
I
right?
was thinking him, but I'm gonna go with Natalie.
Yeah.
I think she's got uh if Guardy's good, she'll be good kind of thing.
100%.
She might even play something else, but like it's just a super solid, strong player, and she pretty seems to do pretty well at ICs, I'd
Yeah.
say.
Yeah.
And then I'm picking Tord
Yeah. Yeah.
because I cannot believe he's still on this list.
I mean, well, it's just, I had to knock out the other hard regions. I had to
That's fair.
because I
See,
had
this is where
like
this.
I'm at like 4 picks, before I get back to me. So
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah,
Tord's a great pick. Tord
yeah.
went.
Also
Tord
an
is
EU pick, so
Yeah,
Yeah.
Tord is an incredible player, but scouting reports already came back that he is not going to LAIC. So he is yeah, should have hit refresh. He's on the IR for next weekend.
He's on the IR.
But
Okay.
who's not on the IR, and again, who's already getting locked in down in South America? Listen, we talked about the deck to beat is Lugia, who has been, right? Rahul's got the flashy finishes and is a great player by himself. But I'm going a little farther up north. I'm going back to the boys in Canada, going to the fellow podcasters. I'm taking Kieran. Lugia going to fly high at the dominating performance down in LAIC.
Listen, I love a good, draft pick like that. But I can't take a Lugia player. I'm sorry, Rahul, I love you. You're a great guy, but and if you want to like message me like right now as we're recording and tell me you're not taking playing Lugia, I will draft you right now. But I just can't do it. I just can't draft a Lugia player. I think Lugia is like one of the worst decks. I will take Alberto Conti. Also won a tear this season, so I get him off the board. Um, and yeah, James Cox still on the board. I'm taking James Cox as well. So I'm taking James Cox and Alberto Conti.
Taking the double Reggie Drago
double
regional
Richard
champs.
Drakey
I mean,
finalists, bro. You don't
it's
think
just
they're gonna get steamrolled by some
listen.
random person playing Raging
No, I don't. I
Provinceless?
think that they're going to pop off. I think they're going to prepare as hard as they can, and
Oh,
that's just what they
definitely,
do over in Europe. They just prepare.
And I didn't expect
definitely.
both of them to be off the board already. I got to get some scouting in.
Got him.
Uh,
Got him.
you anyone know if Stefan's going to LAIC?
I would bet that he's going. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd be if I was a betting man, I'd say he's going to be there. I mean, actually he tweeted this week about like
Oh yeah, play
testing.
testing for LAIC. All right,
Yeah, that's right.
Stefan, I got you.
All right.
Matching the sleeves with the nails, baller
Yeah,
move,
baller
locking
If
move.
it
they
in.
match,
All right.
it's in
Exactly.
there.
Parker, we got a number 3 overall player still on the board. You are up.
I do see that. I do see that. I'm going with Alex Shemansky.
Oh.
Ooh, that is a deep one.
Hey, listen,
I
he's
don't know
good.
if he's even on that
It's okay.
thingy.
He's a good player.
I mean, and he's
Incredible
already won an
player.
IC before. Why not another one?
Exactly.
Yep.
Just collect. He's going to be collecting his rings.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Um,
Yep.
and this is my pick again. So, um, it's hard to say, man. It's so hard to say. Um,
Everyone has fulfilled their regions through 4 rounds. Good job on that.
I'm
Except
gonna.
except for you. You haven't picked a North American player.
Oh
No
yeah,
faith
you're right.
in the boys and girls at home.
I mean, dude, every time we have a challenge with Europe, they just destroy us.
Oof. Anyways, who you got, Parker?
I'm picking Gabe Smart.
Gabriel Smart, friend of
Friend of
the
the pod. There
podcast. Yeah,
we go.
absolutely. Love
Already
it.
with a top 8 this year.
Yep, great pick. Great pick. Maddox.
Let's see. Listen, okay. Again, Lugia is a good deck. You're just like passing me toss-ups. I did not think Rahul would be chilling here still. Listen, between Kieran and Rahul, right, one of them is like basically guaranteed a Lugia top 8. So give me Rahul ready.
All right. I was gonna take him if he was there next round. My next pick. I gotta be
Yeah, yeah,
honest
sure. Remember, I'm the one who actually picked you, right? Eric's fake friend.
Okay. Who am I going to pick? Um. Hmm. I am going to pick Grant Manley, and I don't think Ethan's going. Otherwise, I would take Ethan, even though he's playing Lugia. Um. Hmm.
Is playing
Uh.
Lugia a crime or something?
Yeah, it really is. Um. Give me. I think Bass said he's going. Isn't he said he's going?
Yeah, Bass is gone.
All right, I'll take Sebastian Lashmet. He's been on a tear with Zard.
And if you want to meet Bass, podcast episode with him not too long ago.
Yeah, I'll take Sebastian.
I'm not gonna lie, it's a pretty good pick. Pretty good pick. Let's see. I kind of want to beef up, the EU side a little bit. Again, Ethan Wild, another friend of the pod. I think our survey is saying he's not going. Early scouting reports, it's too early to tell. It's a little harder to lock in. So,
I'll say you'll pick three Lugia player.
hey, listen, Thorns isn't a real deck. Lugia will do good at LAIC. Both of those are
Listen,
true statements.
just pick your other friend, Brandon, and we'll see. You can take the whole Lugia squad.
Now let's see. Honestly, looking at the board and just seeing a couple players that are, in a good position. Again, not sure what the scouting report says, but honestly, my roster's strong enough that I can take a little bit of a risk here. Give me Magnus Peterson. Listen, been
That's a
playing
good one.
Gardevoir, Bennett in a good spot.
That's a good
Obviously,
one.
just off a top 8. Listen, if he's going across the pond, I feel pretty comfortable in a strong performance from Magnus.
I'm surprised you didn't take Mateus.
Yeah, so I mean, was kind of in between both of them. Magnus maybe just had that little extra sauce to get in the top 4. He
Yeah,
could dance than Mateus, but Mateus still the GOAT. Shout out.
yeah, that's fair. All right.
I'm going with Pedro Torres and John Eng for my picks.
Oh,
Ugh, took Charlie. Dang it. He was on my list. Sorry, I'm on another page
Good.
trying to track something, a question that I have. Okay, you got so who'd you take? Sorry.
Pedro Torres or Pedro
Oh, sorry, Rahul's
Eugenio
gone. Let me take
Torres.
Rahul off of here. He's not on. Is Pedro on here or no?
No, Pedro is not.
Okay, so Pedro Torres and John Ing?
I don't believe John Eng is on there either.
No, he's not. I know he's not. Is Pedro's Latin America?
He's EU.
EU. Okay. All right, Maddox. You're
let's
up.
see. I'm getting a little deeper in the draft. Just got to go for a couple local favorites that I got to call out, and some folks, some Americans that I know are going to do a pretty good job. Listen, young kid, been on a tearing up with DDG, top 8 at Worlds, and a second place with Turbo Lost Box. A good sleeper pick, and again in a good position to do well. Give me Michael Davidson.
No, I was gonna
very
take
confident
him.
he's going to do a good job.
Dang it. I was taking him next. All right, I'm taking Andrew Hedrick. Oh, bro, I can't believe you took him. Man, I thought he was going to be there for me right there. All right, I'm taking Andrew Hedrick and dang it, man. I really wanted that one. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna do some quick. Oh, also, Andrew Hedrick is my no day 2 this season pick.
Really?
So that's why
Actually, I think I was playing Lost Box in like Louisville,
yeah.
and like hit like 3 Dragos or something, and those were his only losses
did,
or something.
yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's why I was going to take him there. So Andrew Hedrick is my no day 2 pick. So make sure you guys check that box off soon if you haven't already. Okay. Outside of that, I think Snorlax is still in a pretty good spot. So I'll take Ryan Antonucci.
Good call. Good call.
He loves to play some Snorlax, and I think we'll get a good finish.
All right. For me, listen, I saw this person tweet recently that they were upset that no one was ever taking him in fantasy drafts. He's a very accomplished player. He does good on his own. Another friend of the pod, another DDG member. Give me Nick Moffitt. Again, Nick,
I
you complain about no one
yeah.
picking you. I'm locking in my pick right now. Go lock in, get it done, and no one will ever not pick you again.
Yes,
Your
sir.
time to shine.
Yes, sir.
He was on my like to do.
Mhm.
All right. So me, I'm going William Acevedo, original LA
Yeah,
Charizard.
that's a good one.
Um,
Is he he's Latin America region, right?
yes.
Wait, none of us picked Pedro Petrucci either. Wait, we're kind of trolling. Wait, hold up. Hold on a second.
You can pick him if you want to.
I'm already committed for my last two picks.
That's your own fault.
But that yeah,
That's
it's
your
like,
draft.
that's your own fault.
All right,
I had
someone
some.
pick Pedro Petrucci because that's a pretty free pick also.
Is it?
You're hating, jeez.
Just
Brutal out
saying.
here.
I mean, that could be your no day two pick if you need it.
Oh, I remember Rowan.
Dang
No.
it! No, was on my
That was my.
list.
Rowan save now.
Do you have I don't know how to spell his last name. Saban. No. Okay.
Staven and then OW.
Okay. Do you have somebody that's no day two yet, Parker?
No, I was gonna be number 10 for me.
Okay, that's fine. Just making sure you call it out when you do
Yep.
it. Maddox.
Listen, again, I'm all about diving into the numbers and, getting that deep analysis of what's going on, right? So, listen, this is a player that's been on everyone's radar for a little bit of while, kind of comes in and out of the spotlight. Contacted him briefly before our draft just to kind of get a feel for what he's doing. I did talk to this player. Last year, he was the innovator of the Mew VMAX with the Selgor list. Got a top 64 with that one. Talked to him again. He has a super secret spicy deck that he's been cooking up. And of course, I'm always a fan, friend of mine. Massive respect to good friend Xander Perot.
Yep.
I'm taking him, and again, gonna have a fantastic job at LAIC this year. I have no doubts. Yeah, it's with an X. Put some respect.
Oh, you're right. Is this his day two or no?
He has a day two already.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So you
He got top 16 at Louisville.
I can't leave
With Bolt, I told him about he's got a spicy pick though. He said Bolt was too basic.
I've got my two last picks coming up. I'm going to town. I'm gonna take Ian or Rob.
Yo, no one picked Ian Rob.
And
that hand gesture is a little bit, suspect.
And I'm gonna take Mateus, Guardia Bayonet.
Yep. Good call. Good call.
Okay,
Good call.
Maddox, your last pick, and this needs to be someone that hasn't had day two.
Again, lock it in. Listen. The difference here, I'm putting a big factor on the locked in factor, right? There's some of these players that I've picked are already in Latin America preparing for this event, being locked in. I'm going to go with someone who is staying with the reigning Buenos Aires special event champion. Someone who, has had success before, is, just completed a move across the country, and again, is in LAIC already getting locked in. I'm going to go with Dre Aldretti, another friend of the pod. Again, hasn't have a day two yet, but has been known to have some pop-up performances. I'm pulling for him this time, and looking for a good show.
Yeah, that's a good pick. He was on my list, but once I realized that Hedrick didn't have a day two, I was like, oh, no brainer.
Yeah, that's kind of free, honestly. I did not do the scouting report that
far.
Yeah.
I didn't do my homework enough. All right, last one for me. This one's kind of tough. This is I guess no day two. I don't know who's going to these events. Like there could be 8 people on my list not going to the event, but
that would be tough.
It would be tough. I'm going to say, let's go Makani.
Yeah.
He doesn't have a day two?
Apparently not. Unless I just.
Yeah, he doesn't. Yeah, okay. All right. Makani Tran. My other one, if someone took Hedrick in front of me and I'm just gonna shut him out, I was gonna take Sawyer Melbourne.
Oh yeah. Selburn, yeah. They're good.
Yeah.
Very good.
That was gonna be a very good pick. All right. Now we're on to the winning deck section. This will get you a bonus 50 points. Now the issue is you can't choose a deck that someone else has chosen. So Parker, you got the number one overall pick. You got the reins, you got the horses. It's all yours, man. The floor is yours. Who is going to win the Latin American International Championships?
Or what deck?
I don't think there is a good horse deck right now, but
Calyrex?
No, it's Rote. I was kind of hoping to be last for this.
Mm.
Um,
I'm sure Maddox will
it's,
take the number one overall pick if you don't want it.
it's up to him.
Are you trading him a player too?
Player. Oh, I guess that is how it works in here, huh?
Yeah,
Um,
usually you trade a player for a
I'm
pick.
good with I'm good with number two. Just pick a deck.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
it's gonna be some wacky thing,
I'm just gonna name some decks in case you forgot what they all are.
no,
Insert elevator music.
I guess I have to say Drago.
All right.
I
Reggie
guess I
Reggie
have to.
Drago.
Drago V
It's
Star.
just
I mean, it's a good pick. I mean, it's the number one overall pick. It makes sense. Like I get it. All right, Maddox.
Yeah. Lugia is a strong play.
If you
But
don't
there's
pick
this thing called
Lugia with the number of players you've picked,
there's this thing called hedging where you say like, well, I don't want to like parlay my deck choice into my player choice. But we're not doing that now. We're too confident. Lugia V Star. Listen, people do not play their temples. I've been on this podcast for so long saying play temple, play enhanced hamper, and no one does it. So Kieran and Rahul and whoever else is just going to go tear it up. And maybe Fernando Cifuentes with Iron Thorns. That's fine too. But Lugia, take it as my winning deck.
all right, I'm going to bend the rules a little bit here, and I'm gonna say Gardevoir
they, I was like I might say Gardevoir, but then they all just might get like
because technically
destroyed.
Gardevoir is two decks.
Okay, my bad. I'm gonna pick Pheasantipity EX as my winning deck.
No, no,
Ooh.
no, 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 no. Gardevoir EX. It's a deck.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
When they put it on the chart,
I
it's
guess I
together.
should.
Right?
Alright,
Okay,
I'm changing my pick
Reggie Drago and
to
Terapagos is a hell of a valid deck.
changing my
listen.
deck to Dusknoir.
No, so here's the thing. When
I'm
Pokemon
changing my deck to Nest Ball.
stop. When the official Pokemon YouTube channel creates a graphic, Gardevoir and Gardevoir Bayonet are in the same category.
I hope Bennett Guardy wins and they call the deck Bayonet EX.
I'm
Just so you lose.
I'm just going by official Pokemon rules.
No, they're gonna say Bennett EX wins, and we're saying, oh, sorry, official Pokemon rules.
All right, this is our final fantasy draft. Maddox, give me a 2-second spiel. How you feeling about your team?
Listen, it's at the draft night, everyone thinks they have a strong team. But ultimately, only one team can win, and that is clearly my team. Listen, we have stacked success with the strongest decks in the format right now. We have people that are already on site at camp, getting ready to go. Listen, it's a lock. Maddox's fantasy team taking it home. If you're lucky enough to be drafted, thank you for your in advance. If I did not draft you, you're still an amazing player. There's just only so many people that I can draft, but we'll get you next time.
You promise you'll get me next time?
Anyways, Parker.
I was gonna say there was a lack of a tall, loud man on that list.
Nobody picked me. They don't believe in me, guys. It's fine.
Well, I wanted to pick you for, no day two pick, but Andrew Hedrick doesn't have a day two, so he kind of had to get picked first,
Oh,
so
I'm sorry. I have a day too.
exactly.
Anyways, Parker, 2-minute spiel. How's your team feel?
I think we're doing pretty good. If you guys need a motivational, halftime round 4, hit the lockers. I gotcha. I'll yell in y'all's ears to draw better, sequence better, hit better matchups, uh, shuffle better. I'll tell you to do all those things, and you'll win more.
All right.
Oh,
Just
that's
do it.
sweet. Your team's losing games. My team is not losing any games.
Oh, true.
So what happens when
all
your
of
team plays each
players,
other?
all of
Oh
their
no, we're all in
players,
top 8. Ooh.
they're all gonna be 8-0 after day 1. That is crazy.
That's crazy. Yeah, for me, dude, my team is stacked. I got the leading point leader across, you know, all of the tournaments without cups and challenges, Yurko. I got the best player in Oceania, Brent Tonneson. I got the best player in Europe, Alberto Conti. I got James Cox, who's been on a tear. I got Andrew Hedrick for my no day two pick, who's literally like the best player in the world without a day two right now. My team is stacked, and you guys are going down. I'm sorry. It's just what it is.
But Eric, if you didn't pick yourself for your own team, how confident can you truly be in your team if you too are going to win the event?
Yeah, it's fine. I'll sacrifice. If I hit like Brent Tonneson in finals, I'll just scoop to him.
Yeah,
Imagine.
surely.
Listen, let us know if you relate, but like the amount of times that like Eric Parker and I are at tournaments are like, yo, hey, if we hit in finals, like want to flip for backstage and then just like but no. Would have to do it to him if it came to that.
Yeah, I'd have to do it to him. Anyways, that was a lot of fun. I had a good time with that. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let us know your thoughts on our fantasy team below. Who you think's gonna win? You should try to pick a winner because maybe we'll give a prize if you pick the right winner. Just saying, maybe. Who knows? But you need to comment below and subscribe. Otherwise, you're not eligible. Details to follow.
Oh.
Okay, that's all we have for this week's episode of the Beach Court Podcast. I am off to Brazil Tuesday night, so next week's episode should be next Thursday, and hopefully I'll come back an LAIC champion, and I'll be very tired. But we'll have the episode next week. We'll recap all the results that happened in Brazil and Sao Paulo. For everyone traveling, going, have a safe flight. Hope you enjoyed.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I gotta say, I mean, again, Eric going, everyone give shout outs to Eric, our lone representative for the Beach Court pod this time, but Eric's gonna do great. He's been putting in the work. We've been working with him. He's got his decks ready to go. Heading out on Tuesday. We believe in him. I know he's gonna do great.
We got
So,
some spicy sauce in the list.
Yes, we do.
So
It's called Nest Ball. No, just kidding.
Yeah. If you see me, say hi. I'll have the Epic Splash Cube. Love to play some Cube, or just we'll have some pre-built decks for a while until someone wants a Cube. And we'll just have a good time, man. So we'll see you guys in Brazil. And Maddox and Parker, we'll see you next week. Till next time, have a good one.
See ya.